Hey everybody, Joseph here, running for governor in 2026. And a lot of you have expressed support or interest in my campaign, and I want to say thank you so much for that. And the secondary thing that a lot of you have been asking me is, Joseph, what about the Freedom Caucus? What are your opinions on the Freedom Caucus? It's really hard to unpack that in a short video, but I'm going to try to do that in a way that's constructive and short and to the point. So here we go. My first impression on the Freedom Caucus when they came out the gate was they came out guns blazing, and it kind of spun my head a little bit. Like a lot of you, I was like, you probably had those thoughts. What in the world is going on in the Wyoming legislature right now in the House? And that was my first knee jerk reaction. And of course, a lot of us are seeing that is the reaction across social media. The reason I've not released a comment or a statement on what the Freedom Caucus is doing, and even this statement is still kind of in its formation, to be honest, is because I'm not a knee jerk kind of react kind of a person. I think it's really important that we step back out of our emotions and what we're seeing on social media, etc., and let's kind of wait and see what is actually going to come out of the House. And and so we've seen that they came out guns blazing, a lot of grandstanding, a lot of political posturing, all things that I'm not super thrilled about, and most of you aren't either. I don't think. I'm just a person, by the way. I'm not a politician, so I have a different kind of take on this stuff, and so I decided to take kind of the wait and see approach. The bills have now begun to go through committees. Some of them have died in committees because it's just like these aren't going to work. A lot of their bills were not written well, and they needed to be fleshed out. That's happening now. So that's great. I want to encourage you all, don't just listen to the hype on social media. Do some research for yourself and ask yourself a couple of questions. A, why are they doing some of these bills and legislation? You may find that they were elected to do this. I mean, Wyoming said we want the Freedom Caucus to run the House. That's how we voted. There's a reason for that. And they're fulfilling a lot of those promises to their voters that they said they would go and do. I'm going to not get into the weeds on taxes, education stuff in this video because then it'd be 200 minutes long. And you want just an opinion about Freedom Caucus. I will make other videos about taxes, education, stuff like that in the coming weeks. Check out my events on my website. I've got some coming up where I'm going to be available on Zoom for you guys. We're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about healthcare. We're going to talk about education in the coming months. So I don't want to get lost in those weeds, but rather give more of a bird's eye view. So out the gate, my opinion probably was the same as a lot of yours. It's like, what's going on? But if you notice as time is going on and these bills are seeing committee and conversation, that they are rounding out a lot more. And so for me right now, I think I'm happy with a lot of what the Freedom Caucus is doing. If you look at my website, you probably think, wow, this guy is like a Freedom Caucus fanboy. I am not. I am not. I think I have to be kind of neutral at this point on this. As you know, I'm running for governor. I need to represent all the people of Wyoming, not just, the group of people that elected me for a House seat. So I have to step back and kind of be unbiased and just kind of see where things end up. So where I'm at, I mean, I'm a homeschool dad, so obviously I'm kind of thrilled about the stuff that they're doing for homeschoolers and stuff like that, and even those for private school. I think it has to be done responsibly, blah, 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 walking on my words, in a way that doesn't have a massive negative impact on our kids that are in public schools. I think that's important, and there's got to be a balance to that. But I think we're going to see a lot more balance in that coming out of the committee and a lot of these bills going back to the House floor and then over to the Senate, where these things will probably even find more balance. So for me right now, I am still kind of in a let's wait and see where a lot of this legislation ends up. That's where I'm at with the Freedom Caucus. That being said, I think that we're going to find that we'll be in a better place And the people of Wyoming have spoken, and so let's wait and see where these bills end up. I'll be happy to comment on them as we get towards the end of the legislative session and my thoughts on that. I'm not a big guy for the political grandstanding and political posturing, and that's important. I want to encourage you guys also, before casting too much shade on what they're doing, you might want to find out why they're doing it. There are some very, very underlying reasons that most of you may not know about. Like the state in 4 years, it's been kind of estimated that the state may be $400 million short in budget. Okay. Well, people elected the Freedom Caucus to cut taxes and to cut the budget, even though we have one of the lowest tax burdens in the nation already. So a lot of what they're doing is what they've been asked to do, number one. Number two, there are underlying reasons why they're having to do a lot of these things that they're doing. That being said, let me talk just briefly on the political rhetoric side of it. I think it's unfortunate that we have to be addressing things like bathrooms and DEI and pronouns and all of this stuff. But unfortunately, that is the age in which we live. And some of these things do need to be addressed. And I realize they sound like they're the loudest things and the most important things in the room, but they're not if you look at what's actually going on in the legislature. But unfortunately, we're kind of beholden to have to address these things. And you may or may not agree with the addressing of these things, but it is part of what the legislature was elected to do. So whether we agree or disagree, I think it's important that we all take a deep breath, allow a civil conversation to continue in the legislature for the rest of the session, and see where a lot of these bills and legislation end up. That will then allow me to give a more formed opinion on the individual items, which this video is not for. So right now, where am I at with the Freedom Caucus? All of that said, I'm going to say I'm optimistic. Okay? I am neither like super like, woohoo, you guys do this thing, it's so great. But I'm also not like, it's the end of the world, this isn't going to work, these are the wrong ways to go. So there you go. I mean, that's where I have it. So if you like this video or you want to start a discussion with me about these topics, maybe even deeper, because this is not a deep topic discussion, feel free to reach out to me through my website, hit me up on social media any way you want to. I'm happy to start having that discussion with you guys. So with that, also, if you like this video, you like my approach maybe, feel free to share this across to your friends in Wyoming. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to meeting you guys in the next year and a half, 2 years, as I'm starting on this new adventure running for governor. So thank you so much. Blessings to you all. Have a great rest of the week. Take care. Bye now.